Welcome, Brandon. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. Mind telling us a bit about yourself, what Iron Lion AV is, and how you got started in the industry?
Yeah, thanks for having me and taking the time to do this. So my name's Brandon Carroll. I own Iron Lion AV. We've been around for the better part of 8 or 9 years now. I've been in the industry for about 20. I started doing this when I was 19 years old, and I just fell in love with it.
What made you leap kind of headfirst in this industry? Not a lot of people, when they're at the college job fair, right, are like, I want to be an AV tech. What really drew you into being in the
Yeah,
audiovisual
that's a
industry?
good question. I think what drew me in was initially kind of the shock and exposure of my first job. I had a background in like retail electronics growing up. I worked for like a lot of major retailers, and I kind of run the gamut with all of that. I got a lot of experience and exposure to that, and I thought it was cool. I really liked the complexity. My favorite part was meeting people who shared the interest. So I'd always talk to customers for way too long, talk shop. And I met a guy who did what I do now. He was a professional integrator. And I was looking for just something different. And we had a conversation. He qualified me. He said, "Okay, I can work with that kind of thing," and took me out to this gentleman's house in Somas. Really, kind of like an unsuspecting area, and it was beautiful. The house was beautiful. I'd never seen anything like it. But to me, what was beautiful was there was a room just full of wires, and I had never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
And it sparked some kind of curiosity in me that I didn't really know existed. I think most people would run from that scenario, but I just dove right in, and I immediately wanted to master it. I thought it was super cool.
And what has the progression been like for you moving from working for somebody else into running your own business?
The progression's been all over the place. I've worked for a lot of different businesses and companies, some for a long time, some not. But I have always tried to learn and take as much usable knowledge or lessons as I could whenever I left. And some of those lessons were hard ones. I mean, I wasn't always, like the best kid. Sometimes I was like a problem, or didn't mesh well with other crew guys, or maybe I was a little cocky or something. And that happens. And coming full circle, I think it's really important to acknowledge all the lessons, even the bad ones, and own them and evolve from that. Because without having introspection, you're not gonna have a true trajectory.
Amazing. And it's, you hit on a lot of things there that are, I think, very relevant to a lot of people in the industry. And I'm curious, what was really the thing that said, hey, I've learned all I could learn here. I think I'm ready to go out and do this on my own. What was that kind of aha moment for you?
That's a tough question. I think my aha moment was a culmination of things. I had already been doing this type of work for probably around 10 years or so. And I had worked for half a dozen companies. I had my hands in what I felt like was everything at one point. And I felt confident. I think that's probably the biggest difference is confidence. And that's hard because the industry is so multifaceted: low voltage, home automation, smart homes. There's a lot there. And when you're exposed to what you think is everything, there's always something else. There's always a learning curve, And I think that I just got tired of feeling stagnant, and I wanted to take a risk. Something in me was hungry for, the next thing. And I felt like, I think I'm good enough to do this. I'm going to try entrepreneurial, endeavors. And I mean, that's you just make the choice, and you fail or you don't.
Yeah.
And hopefully you fail. I failed a lot, but that's kind of the process, right?
Was it always your plan to start as a kind of a full service provider tackling all areas of AV, or did you kind of start with a specialty and decide to expand from there?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't think I ever really thought about being a a one-stop shop or a full-service provider. There's kind of an unspoken path that technicians follow in the field. It's really just trade work, but you master what's in front of you, and sometimes it's not up to you, right? We do the work that's in front of us. We do the work that we get. I hung TVs for like 2 years straight. I didn't do anything else. I've probably mounted tens of thousands of TVs at this point. I taught myself networking because exposure with that can be difficult. And unless you already know it, why would you get the exposure? So it's a combination of opportunity and intention. And I think that after a certain amount of time, you get certain disciplines under your belt, form starts to take shape, and you kind of see where you need to fill in the gaps, and you either stay comfortable or you have more hard days. And eventually hard days stop, and you just have knowledge. So
there's a huge kind of quantum leap between, hey, I'm working on another guy's crew doing the technical aspects of the job, going up to, hey, now I am running all of the business.
Yeah.
And there's skill sets, right, in the business side of things that no one teaches you how to do when you're a technician.
Absolutely.
How have you, changed your approach or, developed into not just a great technician and professional AV installer, but also a great business person?
Yeah, baby steps. Part of being a good technician is taking leadership when you can, if you can, and having apprentices and being able to cultivate talent is probably the first step for self-growth. Being able to teach somebody what you know, the way you know it, and connect the dots for someone else, not only is really rewarding and cool. You teach a man how to fish. It's super cool. But it does also teach you kind of how to operate under different levels of pressure, because the job still has to get done. And you have to make sure that every opportunity, every job is, also a learning experience. But, we don't want to be at the customer's house for 15 hours. So learning how to balance that, I think, sets a really good foundation for running a business. Truth be told, I still am kind of trying to figure out the business side of things. I'd much rather have a tool in my hand.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I mean, the learning process is awesome. So I still train techs. I train all my guys myself. I'm in the field still. And when I'm not in the field and they're handling a job by themselves, I know that I'm moving in the right direction, right? Because I'm enabling them for success, which in turn enables me to work on the things that I need to work on.
Yeah. I remember vividly when we first started talking, I asked you, I was like, Brandon, what does your dream business look like? Like, what do you want Ironline to be?
Yeah.
And you said something that resonated really deep with me is, I want it to be a place that I can do what I love, which is training people and helping techs get more provision. Because I remember when I was that guy.
Yeah.
And I'd love for you to kind of expand on that and kind of tell us, where that vision came from and why it's so important to build the company in that image.
Yeah. Well, so I've worked for a lot of companies over the years, and I've seen small scale and I've seen large scale, and they're just different. They have their uses. I've had 4 bosses at one company, and I've had 1 boss at one company, and who did everything. And the difference is the camaraderie that gets built with a smaller group of people. I mean, even the small company, I think at one point we had 10 guys. That's not small. But we were brothers, and that's cool. And it's such a niche industry too, that the people that end up doing this kind of stuff, we all have a lot of unspoken things in common, which I think is cool. And it's nice to cultivate those types of tertiary families, Work doesn't have to be work. It can be cool. You can show up and be stoked. And I like that. I mean, why not just be that? It's cool.
What are some of those unspoken things that you think you share with others in the industry?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, they wouldn't be unspoken if I shared them. The truth is that we're all nerds. We all just like technical stuff. If we didn't, we wouldn't do this. We'd just, I don't know, be painters. No offense to painters, you know, but I mean, there's a dozen disciplines in low voltage, and I think we just all like played with Legos as kids or something, you know.
There's something about the systems and getting things to talk to each other and work.
Yeah. So I think that I think the personality type is interesting. There's a little bit of artistry there, creating something out of composite systems where the result is, better than its parts. I think that that's really, if I had to kind of explain it, I think that there's something there with that. Growing up, I was into computers, or I was into games, or some guys like robotics or programming, or I met a guy who liked integrated circuitry, who was younger than 60.
Yeah.
Those are all just like little building blocks for personality traits or things like this, and I think that there's just a really nice sense of accomplishment with a team when everybody can use their passions and their interests to cumulatively collaborate and create a system for a client, or a house or a property, or whatever it is that other people enjoy using.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
What do you think the number one thing that most people get wrong about your industry is?
That we just hang TVs. I mean, that's so common. Getting wrong, I don't know, because I don't really have a baseline for expectations, right? Like almost all people, almost all my clients, they just have a need, and it overlaps with our ability. There's always longer conversations, which is opportunity to educate people. Sometimes they don't know what they want.
Yeah.
And so, you walk into a restaurant, there's a full menu. Most of us, if we've been there already, probably have an idea of what we're already going to order. We're creatures of habit. But once in a while you see something and you're like, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
So it's an opportunity.
How do you accurately manage those expectations of your clients? Because in any business, right, especially when you're talking things that are so personal, like your home, right? Expectations that are very hard to manage, because everyone's going to have wildly differing ones, right? But they're all going to feel personal.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how do you do that?
Managing expectations can be tricky, but it can also be just really easy. I think being really transparent with your clients is like a non-negotiable, and depending on the client, involving them as much as they want to be involved is super helpful. Always, being reachable is a thing. It's about building trust and building relationships, and you don't always have a lot of time to do that. I've become friends with my clients faster than I make friends in real life, and maybe we'll work together for a week or a month. And I say work together, but really I'm working on their house. But it's a collaboration because they give me parameters, and then my goal is to exceed those parameters.
Yeah.
And be there, after the fact as well.
Yeah.
You don't ever want to lose touch with people. I think it's important to continue the relationship, as long as you can.
Yeah. I really want to hone in on one thing that you said there, which was, being reachable, right? I think that's very, very hard to do in today's day and age, especially with, hey, you're a busy guy, you're running your business, you're managing not just guys in the field, but you're also acting as a mentor. And that takes a lot of time. I'm curious, like, what have you been doing to help be more reachable, but also provide that level of client care and touch that leads them to being able to build trust with you?
Yeah, caffeine intake is super important. Just move fast, right? But actually, I mean, having a process is probably the best way to do that. I've got family, and I don't like to cut into family time, and so I have to kind of streamline my days, and it's tough. It's a moving target. It's dynamic. You can't be rigid. You just have to be able to roll with the punches. I mean, if a client texts you, text them back. If they email you, email them back. Do follow-up calls. Overlapping communication's fine. No one has ever said to me, hey, you have reached out to me too many times. Or I got your email, you didn't need to call me. They always appreciate the overlap. But I try to carve out moments in my day where I can address the things that I need to address in the order that I need to do them in, based upon urgency.
Yeah. And how have you been able to kind of keep all of that in track? Like you said, it's very dynamic, right?
Yeah.
Leads come in at different times.
Yeah.
Existing clients have questions at different times. Where do you kind of go, or how do you keep that all kind of organized in a way that's like, okay, this is my hour of work, right? Where I'm going to do all my responding to leads, things like that.
Yeah.
What's been helping you there?
I met a really capable dude actually who got me on board with overhauling some of my backend stuff and generating a machine, which is cool, a process to organize jobs, leads, contacts, calendars, technicians, tasks, all the stuff that you need to, all the moving parts. Seeing it right there and just being able to do what I need to do. I mean, you've enabled me to do that, which has been a game changer, a big game changer. And I've been sitting on the fence with it for so long that, making the move over was quick, it was easy. I mean, I think our first collaboration took a few days.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane.
Yeah. I think we started working together May 31st. Was the first day I called you.
Yeah.
And then, it's been honestly a roller coaster is not the right word because it's been up and to the right since then.
It's like a spaceship ride or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're up there,
Yeah.
It's cool.
100%. So going back to like maybe before we met, right? Walk me through what was a day in the life of Brandon like?
Oh man, I feel like I was pulling levers. Like that dude in the old timey bar with the weird machine with the levers, and he's using his feet and it's making all the noises. Everything was manual. I mean, fortunately, my mind is organized. I hope it stays that way. But you can only come up with so many processes, and those processes take whatever time they take. I had effectively built out my own CRM using Google Sheets. Formulas.
Yep.
And, I take a page out of my career in the mortgage industry for that one. But, man, it worked. But it's clunky and it takes time. And to create overlapping procedures, which is necessary for certain things, I saw the ratio of efficiency and the end result, and it just was so lopsided. I used to make invoices by hand, or on a word processing software, and eventually I changed over to an invoicing software. I can do an invoice in a few minutes, whereas before, because I wanted it to look a certain way, I'd space it out, and it would take hours to do something that would net me ultimately not, probably more than I would charge to even create the invoice, opportunity cost wise. So, streamlining all of that and having you come in, getting fresh eyes on my systems. It's been like running downhill. Yeah. Hard stop.
It's amazing. Cool. I'll never forget when you sent me over those first templated Excel
What was
sheets.
What was your impression? Yeah.
Oh man, I was like, honestly, I was so impressed.
Yeah, cool.
Because I was like,
this
is like some Goldman Sachs level Excel.
Oh really?
Yeah. Every square was dynamic.
Yeah.
It all had a summary table. It was beautiful, and honestly, it kind of it made me really excited to work with you.
Cool.
Because very oftentimes people are resistant to change, and part of the reason why is because they don't know what it is and they're scared of what could be on the other side.
Yeah.
But with you already have thought and had done kind of the emotional and the mental work of like, hey, this is what I need to run my business.
Right.
You had just built it yourself, which is awesome. But as we discussed, right, the way that data got in there was not streamlined. It was not as efficient as it could be.
Yeah.
But working with you it's been amazing because not only do you see the whole picture and the vision, but you've actually taken the steps to do it yourself and understand the amount of work that it takes to get there.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. One thing I wanted to kind of hit on is tell us about the original, how'd you get your first client? How'd you get your first customer?
I have no idea. Probably luck.
Yeah.
I mean, being referral based is kind of a thing. If you ask any professional trade, it's referrals only. We're still referrals. And yeah, that's true. That can be true, but it can also be kind of frustrating to hear when you're wanting to understand, well, how do I get on the offensive, right? How do I grow my business? And there's really no right answer for that. I mean, if you get referrals, cool. You're in the right network. You're doing something right, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
There's a lot of outside factors though that can change that up on you pretty quick. I mean, even in just a fiscal year.
Yeah.
And so you want to have different avenues that you can pull a lever on to keep the gas pedal engaged.
Yeah.
We all call them lulls in work. It's the worst. It's feast or famine is not preferential.
Yeah.
Consistency is really hard to come by. So my first job, I honestly I couldn't even answer that question. I don't know. I think I was probably using, some type of pre-configured marketing platform, maybe a little bit of socials, and I'm sure I got some phone calls. But cultivating those relationships. How do you get the referral once you meet somebody? There's so many doors you have to walk through.
Yeah.
And it's really important that you kind of try your best, make it a personal goal to walk through each door as perfectly as you can.
Yeah.
At least what you think that is, right?
100%.
And that process also helps you hone your business. Did I wipe my feet when I walked in? Was I too much? Was I not enough? Did I say the right things? Did I clock their sense of humor? Did we vibe,
Yeah.
Or was I like a weirdo? There's jobs people you meet where you're like, hey, nice to meet you. Can I use your bathroom?
Yeah.
I've been on the road for 2 hours. Like, it happens. You just kind of have to be dynamic with it. But
when you're talking, I think one thing that you hit on is so good is, oftentimes when we discuss, lead generation, how do we bring leads, how do we bring quality leads, my thing has never been I'm anti-referral, or I don't think referrals are good. Honestly, in the hierarchy of inbound leads, referrals are the best.
Best thing.
They're the most likely to close. They're the easiest to work with, and they're very patient in a way that somebody who's inquiring is not.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, what have you focused on in your existing clients to help generate those referrals through their network? Do you have a specific strategy?
Kind of.
Or?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
So consistency is the biggest thing. I mentioned before, like, I try to be as reachable as possible, right? Just making sure that you're the right guy for that person. Yeah. Be there to meet their needs. Everybody likes to have a guy. And, if you're talking to your buddy and he brings up, oh man, I really want to do this thing. Oh, I have a guy for you.
Yeah.
And let's say he calls you right there and you pick up. How
Great.
cool are you?
Yeah.
People answer my calls, it's empowering.
Yeah.
And so I think that, it doesn't take very much out of me to empower somebody, to make them, be able to deliver on whatever it is that they're referring. So I just think that that's like the most important thing. It's kind of old school, I guess. Everybody streamlines. Everybody focuses on volume.
Yeah.
I focus more on quality.
Yep.
It's harder, but I think it's better.
Yeah. I kind of want to jump down into like the tactical level.
Sure.
And
Let's do it.
On that sort of front, tell me a little bit about, hey, this is what I had done traditionally in the past to generate leads, say over the last 12 months, and kind of, you don't have to get into numbers or anything like that, but what that experience has been like, and also how have you tried to fix kind of the lull problem before?
Yeah, the lull problem never goes away. So how specific do I want to get? There's a lot there.
Yeah.
I've tried all kinds of different avenues. I've tried mailers in the mail. There's value to that. There's value to everything. I think the biggest thing is just whatever your budget is or whatever your ability is, I think it's really important to diversify your efforts because you don't know what's going to actually work.
Yep.
So having your eggs all in one basket is never a good thing. If something works, you tend to try to double down on it, and that's okay too. But everything is so niche. There's really no right answer. The answer is everything.
Yeah.
So you take whatever your effort is, X, and you divvy that up with your ideas, and then you kind of just figure out where can I move my chips, what's going to get me a yield.
Yeah.
And it's a numbers game. I mean, you might try 10 things and one of them calls you back.
Yeah.
Okay, try it again. keep doing that until you've kind of ruled out the things that just don't work for you.
How were you tracking the attribution of your efforts previously?
In my head, a lot of it, to be honest. And then I have, on my custom-made CRM there, I have information about, like where people have heard of me from, or whatever pertinent information that I need.
Yeah.
And I fill it in manually, and it takes time, but it's it's a good data set to pull from, and it gives me a macrospective perspective of what's working for me.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's, I think one thing is, as a small business owner, marketing and marketing budgets is it's important, right? And it's like you have this little baby bird and you have to take care of it, and you have to say, you can't just have the resources to just dump all this money into marketing and see, hey, what's going to work, right? So you have to be very specific about it. A lot of people that I've worked with in the industry, right, they use review services, right, are kind of like the community review platforms,
Sure.
Things like that. I'm curious, how's your experience been using platforms like that?
They do work. They're expensive, and they're tricky because you have to optimize yourself to work with that platform.
Yeah.
And you might mess up a few times, and that's a costly mistake. Not only are you having an expenditure to operate on the platform, but if you don't get leads, there's no yield on your efforts, and so that expenditure kind of compounds, and then your lull kicks in, and now you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, marketing is a gamble. It always kind of is, but you can pick the table that you sit at.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to play a game I don't know, unless I teach myself first. But you're going to fail.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just inevitable. But those are the lessons, and that's super important.
Yeah. What was your web presence like previously before we first met?
That's a good question. My web presence was funny. So I made my own website first time around. I've made a few over the years for myself, for other people, using like builders and things like that. But I've always been so focused on like the design of it, like what I think is cool, what looks clean. The messages in the unspoken. Move this line over a couple pixels and make it, So my first website for Iron Lion was clean, too clean, 0 words on it, no SEO, no one could find it,
Yeah.
And I had a carousel, and I thought, yeah, some animations. That was cool. I thought the words were cool. I spent a lot of time sitting there humming and hawing about wordsmithing paragraphs out. And what do I want to say? Well, I don't want people to have to, read a library when they're just trying to find a thing. I had it all wrong, come to find out. So, you've actually helped me revamp a lot of that stuff. Your insight has been like killer. It's all the stuff that I just didn't understand. It's just out of my grasp. And the site now is like locked and loaded. It's SEO optimized like crazy. Using our CRM that we've worked on, I've actually been able to kind of phase out some older processes. I don't have to keep track of lead generation anymore, which is cool.
Yep.
It's all automatic. I can convert it to projects and jobs. I can see, they saw my site. I get text messages of when people reach out. I can hit them up immediately. I got one this morning before I came here.
Amazing.
And we sealed the deal in like a 30-minute conversation.
Perfect.
That's where my guys are working right now.
Yeah. Speed to lead.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It doesn't get better than that. So yeah, my web presence before, I thought it was cool. It was awful.
Were you getting any traffic, like leads from the site previously?
No, I think it was like a redirect, right? Like they'd find me on another platform, and then they would click my website, and maybe that was it. I don't think anything really was optimized to even show up on Google. So yeah, it's like there's no comparison. It's night and day.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then when we first talked, like what kind of led you to be like, hey, I'm willing to, trust this guy who called me, right? For some context, right? You had actually done work on my home.
Yeah, you were a client.
Yeah, I was a client.
You were a client.
And, I reached out to you and I said, hey man, like I love what you do. I think your work's amazing, but I also love small business.
Yeah.
And I think, part of the reason why I do this is because I've seen the impact small business can have on people, their families, and also like it's the backbone of this country.
Yeah.
I think it's important that we support that and that we, allow you guys to thrive.
Yeah.
But that aside, what was that first conversation like for you?
It was kind of funny. I think you had hit me up and you said, "Hey, I noticed I didn't get any automated text from you. Is that something that you'd be interested in?" And my first thought was like, "Who is this guy? What is he calling?"
Just a number in your phone.
I'm just immediately just like, "What's happening?" And so I didn't really clock right away, what was going on. But I'm always open to opportunity, and you're lucky you got through because I get a lot of business opportunity calls, and normally I just ignore them. But I think that when we spoke on the phone, kind of what you just said leading into the question here resonated with me a lot because I share the same values. I just think that it's not something that's really that common anymore. Everything's volume, it's impersonal. Customer service is dead. It's just not a thing anymore. Everything's outsourced. And that might help the bottom line, but I don't think that it's what my industry needs. And so I think we just kind of aligned on ideals. And I came over, we hung out, we vetted each other,
Yep.
right? Kind of felt it out. And I think that at some point, totally subconsciously, I think that I was just like, yeah, not always, I have learned to not be so adverse to taking risks. And I think that it aligned with my goals. And so I was just like, yeah. let's see what happens.
Amazing. And how has the experience been so far?
Super cool, man. Yeah, you're rad. The process has been like great, responsive. We've done so much in like a month.
Yeah.
My head spins. I mean, I'm on the learning curve now. We've joked about that. Like I teach people how to do tech and stuff, and it's like there's always somebody who's like, "Let me enter my Netflix password," and I'm like, "Okay, we charge by the hour." Like, I'm that guy now, and it's like I'm learning how to do these things that I should have known how to do, but it just no exposure to it, didn't have, So that's super cool, and I like that because I always tell my clients, don't be afraid of change. I'll hold hand as much as possible. You hold my hand, through the whole process, and it's a collaboration. I mean, we're both working on it, and it yields results.
Amazing. And speaking of those results,
Yeah.
don't need to get any specific numbers or anything like that.
Okay.
But what has been, your ROI on this project so far over the last, I think it's been 2 months.
Yeah. Way better actually than my previous efforts.
Okay.
Way more consistent. We're still scaling up, which is great. I've actually been able to onboard a new technician recently because of our efforts.
Amazing.
Never been able to do that before. I've only kind of had, the crew that I have, and that number is been relatively finite over the years.
Yeah.
We're actually punching up now. We're expanding.
Amazing.
And slow growth is like the best kind of growth.
Yeah.
And I think the efforts have, our efforts, your efforts, they've been able to empower me to kind of like get on a trajectory that I actually really want to be on.
Amazing.
And so I can't really put a value on that. Sure, there's ROI, but it's more than ROI because it's your business model. It's starting to evolve, and that's bigger than ROI.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also gives you an opportunity to do what you really love again, which is help train another tech and,
It's fun.
all that. Yeah.
No, it's cool. I like the process.
Yeah.
The guy I got's pretty good, so
Cool.
Less training.
Yeah. Plug and play.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, we call that PMP.
Yeah.
But it's awesome, man.
Cool. Amazing. And I guess, just a broader industry question is, where do you think the future of AV is heading right now?
That's a tough question. The future of AV has always been ever evolving.
Yeah.
There's a ratio with consumer grade products ramping up, and then the professional industry coming behind that curve, because those are products for the masses, and then trying to kind of meet features while still being a professional grade product. So it's tricky to say. About 10 years ago, maybe a, plus or minus some years. I'm probably off, but Sonos arrived on the scene and introduced a smart amp.
Yeah.
And that overnight took away one of my jobs. I mean, I used to sit down and design user interfaces for distributed audio and like give people, it's still a thing, but it's just much less of a thing.
Yeah.
So I think that the consumer industry and the professional industry are we've always had this like, tenuous relationship. And the scales kind of go like this. But at the end of the day, they're so far apart also. I mean, you just cannot market or package together what we do and what we offer. It's so many things. And to have a small company who is intimately familiar with your bespoke solution or house or project or whatever, you just can't replicate that on a large scale. I mean, that's a relationship. And so I think that's really the biggest edge that the professional AV industry is always going to have.
Yeah.
Is we're the guys in your house and we know it and we did it. And a good company will be around, or you'll get your guy's number hopefully. But yeah, I think it's always going to be a tug of war.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, it's just not even in the same atmosphere.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting too, is the AV industry is so much more of a relationship industry than something, like some of the other trades like roofing, for example, or HVAC, right? For an HVAC system to an HVAC system in 90% of cases, right? Obviously you're gonna have very bespoke systems for some things, right? Are pretty much could be repaired by any of equal ability or talent. Well, an AV system is so integrated and so unique to that person's home that having that consistent relationship with the client, as well as on the opposite side, your AV provider, right, is so important, because it's like, how long would you say it would take you to come into a whole new house, the whole new system, just to understand what was even going on?
I mean, that's a lot of what we do.
Yeah.
We'll come in, there'll be an old system, and I'll give the client an option. Do you want to cannibalize this and try to reuse as much as possible? Do you want to just wipe the slate clean? There's always different paths to proceed down. It's funny that you mentioned the relationship part of it, because one of the unspoken things that is real is the relationship with property too. I have houses that are clients, and they have changed hands with owners. And the AV guy gets passed to the next person, and we're like, oh yeah, we know your house.
Yep.
And those lead for some funny and interesting conversations.
I bet. Yeah.
Oh yeah, in your attic, if this is up here, and like,
oh, you don't know if you pull this book on the bookshelf, the wall opens?
Yeah. Like, I know your house better than you do.
Yeah.
So that's a thing too. But yeah, giving people options is like super important.
Yeah.
Don't ever back people into a corner.
Yeah.
A really wise guy told me one time, don't spend other people's money.
Yeah.
Let them do it. Just give them options.
Yeah. Speaking of wise men, what was one piece of business advice that you heard that changed your life?
I've had a lot of lessons from a lot of people. The most cliche one, but it's like super important, is don't be afraid to fail. I have failed so many times. I've tried to get out of this industry so many times. I'm glad I didn't, I've tried other jobs. I left for a year, I mean, multiple times on different occasions, and I didn't like any of those jobs either. That's failure, but like I realized it's not the job, I'm just trying to find a scapegoat for having a bad day at work. We all have them, we can all relate. And, I think just like introspection with that is super important. But I don't think I have like a single best advice, because all the advice that I try to remember is super good. It's good. It's a good advice. Just live it.
Well, if you could give yourself year one, Brandon, Iron Lion is a baby bird ready to take off from the nest.
Yeah.
And you could, talk to yourself back then, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
Fail faster.
Okay.
Yeah, fail faster.
Yeah.
Learning's not a problem. Not in this industry. You already have that mindset. Reluctance is your enemy, right? Just jump. Just do it.
Yep.
It's gonna be fine. And if it's not fine, it will be.
Yeah.
You know, you'll get back up, you'll figure out where you went wrong, and then you'll course correct, you'll jump again.
Yeah.
And you'll do it 1,000 times, 10,000 times. No joke. Like it's a lot of effort. You just got to have a little bit of grit. Don't take anything personal. Just keep going.
Yeah. And if you were speaking to somebody who was maybe in your position a few months ago, right, who is on the fence about jumping into, having us help their business, right, whether it be marketing, sales process, things like that, what would you tell them now, having worked with us?
Oh, hurry. I mean, dude, I wish I did this. Honestly, I wish I did this year one. You know, you got to reconcile like the control that you feel as a small business owner. If you know your system, if you've made systems and then you know them, you're stagnant already. Get something that is going to grow your business as quickly as possible. Don't be afraid of challenge. It's always going to be stressful. Who cares? Just acclimate and like do it quick.
Yeah.
Don't waste time. We're only around for so long. You don't want to spend 10 years trying to figure out what the best way to do a thing is. Do it wrong 50 times and then you'll figure it out. And do that in like year 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah. It's like kind of the, break things as quickly as possible.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I remember when we first started working together, we had a great conversation. It was, hey, we're going to break a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
but we're going to break it and then we're going to fix it really fast.
Oh, we have.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we definitely have.
We definitely have. But it's been a huge learning for me as well, as working with somebody who is so in touch with the inner workings, the plumbing of their business, because you have built it.
Yeah.
You know every screw, every lever, where everything is. And honestly, I think you have like an encyclopedic memory, because I have like, if you saw my office, I have like a whiteboard with like, different drawings.
My wife hates it. Yeah.
Trying to figure out
Remember
where it
what
goes.
you said?
But yeah, it's been really amazing. Some rapid fire questions for you really quick.
Cool.
If you had to pick commercial or residential jobs for the rest of your life, what would it be?
That's a tough one, but personally for me, the industry's split on this.
Okay.
We have arguments about this is better, that's better. I really like residential. I like maybe it's like just as a kid, like working in retail electronics. Like I like meeting people. I like getting to know people. People are interesting. Some people suck.
Yep.
But that's cool too. I mean, if you like everybody, something's wrong with you. But people are cool, man. LA is a great place, and I've met so many cool people. Without these people, I definitely wouldn't even have like this business or learn the lessons that I've learned. I've gotten book recommendations from clients, and I've read the books, and I've showed back up and talked about it. And they're like, "Whoa, you really?" I'm like, "Oh yeah,
That's awesome."
Like it's like why not?
That could be a cool passion project, AV book club.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. What are you reading this week? Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I love it.
But yeah, I think residential is where it's at personally. But that's just me. There's really no wrong answer. I like the challenge. Every house is different. Every client's different. All their needs are different. And there's a person in between you and that project that you also have to navigate that's different.
Yeah.
And I think it's more enriching. Commercial is cool. It's more impersonal. The work can be a little redundant. Great money in it. Different strokes, different folks,
Yeah. Best sounding speaker system you've ever installed?
It's such a loaded question. That's hard, man. It's like, what's the fastest car?
Yeah.
It's like, well, what tires does it have? What's the road? What's it made out of? What year? I got the chance to hear a pair of, I don't know if they're in production anymore. It's been a long time. I think they're called Legacy Whispers. And they were like mind-numbingly high quality. Stereo though, hi-fi.
Yeah.
There's two worlds in sound. There's cinema, and then there's stereo. And I really think that they're not interchangeable.
Yeah.
Not really.
For different experiences, right?
They're just different products, like a truck and a car. You know, if you like music and you have a really good stereo system, and you have the right converters, and you've got preamps and all the right components, and there's artistry in that too. And hearing a really good stereo system is just awesome. It's awesome. And music is where it's at.
Yeah.
I mean, cinema's cool too, though. I really like cinema. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a really tough question. So yeah.
Okay. And the final question,
Okay.
if you weren't doing AV, what would you be doing?
Oh man. Well, I've been doing it since I was 19. And I've tried other things. I don't think I've really been that good at anything else, at least proportionally to this, but you know, there's the time thing. So uh, I think honestly, like silly answer, but I think if I wasn't committed to my business, like at some point down the road, I'd probably just like be playing paintball,
Nice.
traveling, and you know, doing that for fun. Maybe pay. That would be the goal.
Yep.
I can't think of an actual job that I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, I want to do
I
that.
love working. You know,
Yeah.
this is it for me. I like this stuff.
Amazing. And for everybody watching, where can they find you if they want to work with you?
Yeah. So ironlionav.com, best place to find me, learn about me, my company, the services we offer. Our Instagram's on there as well. And that's it. You can always call me directly too. My number's on the site.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Brandon. It's great seeing you and great chatting.
Cool, man. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.